And y'all making me follow the hard ones here, Betty. He doesn't.
We love you.
Y'all doing all right?
Richard, when someone says the name Ralph Moody, what's the memory that comes to mind?
You know, I just remember he was the heart of Holman-Moody. You know, he drove a race car. He understood race cars. And when he hired drivers and when he worked on the car, he understood the cars. And, you know, I don't know very many people that could have go from driving to a business like that and still have more than one or two cars. They had a whole team deal. And he knew what he was doing, because back when I was trying to win races, he was the one we was racing against. And, you know, we won some, he won some, but he was very, very competitive. He understood the drivers, and when they had a problem, he understood what it was. So that made him that much better.
He talked about when he was starting out racing, if he maybe did something wrong, that you would come up to him and say, hey, maybe this is how you should handle it. He looked up to you then, and what do you think of when you think about Ricky? You remember when he first started?
No, you know, Ricky started driving a car that really wasn't that competitive, but he stayed out of trouble. If you look back at his record, he wasn't like me. He didn't get in a lot of wrecks and stuff, but he kept at it. Finally got his chance to do the right thing as far as winning races. And the big deal was Ricky was, he not only won driving it for somebody else, he started his own team. Very few people can say that they started their own team and won races. And so, you know, you look at that standpoint. One of the things, I guess, I look at Ricky. Ricky's got the same name I have, Richard Lee. His wife is Linda Gill. My wife's name was Linda Gill. So I always kind of, you know, sort of like a sidekick deal. But, you know, Ricky didn't mind asking, hey, what am I doing wrong? He really worked hard at being a good race driver, and he done a good job at it.
You know, a lot of the drivers, a lot of the people who are in the Hall of Fame say that running into people is the big deal about this. You can see some of the Hall of Famers that you don't get to see all the time, and your name comes out. Well, which one? Oh, Richard Petty. And you get to see a lot more racing people than a lot of these people. Well, you're still around all the time.
Yeah, you go to the racetrack and stuff, you see very few of these guys, because many of them, you know, just went away, like Carl, even Ricky. They might show up now and then, but, you know, I go to all the races. But you come here, you see the people that's been put in the Hall of Fame, and you see the people going in tonight, and then you see people that's going to go in the Hall of Fame. So we probably have a bigger collection of drivers here than Daytona, any races we go in. So it's always good to come back and see old friends and new friends.
It's like the fountain of youth, isn't it, for you to go to the racetrack and keep going? Because everybody, without you, I don't know what we do.
That's all I've ever done. I don't know any better. Okay, so you know, it's one of those kind of deals when you get up Sunday morning and say, okay, where's the race today? We got to go.
So what was it like to see them race at Bowman Gray last weekend? Were you wanting to find a car to go race there?
You know, Bowman Gray was always a tough racetrack. Our cars were a little bit bigger than they, and we had metal fenders. We couldn't beat on each other. The show wasn't as good as all the build-up around it. But I'm glad that it was able to come back and bring the history of NASCAR back to the Piedmont, because that's where Bill France and them started. You know, I guess the first sanctioned races they had was at Bowman Gray, and then we started running there, and we ran like 28 Cup races or so. And you know, I look at Bowman Gray. I didn't ever win the 4 races, I think, but the big deal there, I won my 100th race. So it's always going to be a big part of my career and in my thought that, hey, a little place like Bowman Gray, and you still won. You might have won Daytona, you know, 2.5 miles, but you was able to run a quarter-mile race out too.